You want to do next week?
Yeah.
Good morning!
Good morning!
Good morning again!
Good morning!
I miss you guys. Good morning. I call this meeting. I call this meeting Hadi, Diane. I call this meeting of Lake Mary Toastmasters Club 6440 to order. Before we proceed with the meeting, please silence your cell phones. I would like to ask everyone to stand up for the pledge of allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Our club mission is to provide a supportive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. And with that said, please help me welcome our Toastmaster this morning, Carrie Bird.
Our theme for today is the Smoky Mountains, and the main reason is because I was just driving through them in the past week a few times. And my husband's grandmother lives just on the edge of the Smoky Mountains in Knoxville, right on the border of Sevier County. The Smoky Mountains are in Tennessee and North Carolina. They are a sub-range of the Appalachian Mountains. It is the home of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. The park was established in 1934, and with over 9 million visits per year, and on an average on a weekend in the summer, 60,000 visitors, it is the most visited national park in the United States. It is also home to the densest black bear population in the eastern United States. And the name Smoky comes from the natural fog that hangs out over the range that looks like large smoke plumes from far away. With that, I would like to go to our technical table. We have a few changes. First, our counter is Stephen Morgan.
You want me to tell you this? I wasn't sure if there were more changes you wanted to mention. Okay.
I'll get to those.
As Alexandra, I'm going to be listening to those little verbal hiccups that you might be using while you're speaking. Ahs, ums, you know, so, and, but, any other bridge words, tongue clicks, any other annoying sounds or distractions. I will be taking note and reporting during the general evaluation at the end of the meeting. If you notice that I happen to not be looking at you, it's usually because I'm looking down so that I hear better. Looking up tends to be a lot more distracted. Pat Toastmaster.
And our timer for today is Mike Hughes.
My function as a timer is to keep people on time. Now, when you reach your 5-minute mark, you will see the green, 6 the yellow, and 7 the red. Table topics, 30 seconds, you'll see green, yellow is 45, and red is 1 minute. You can stop. Alright, evaluators got 2, 2.5, and 3 minutes, and I'll give my report at the end. Thank you.
And since Jorge is not here, filling in for Marion is Erica Benfield.
As for Marion, I have selected the word of the day using the wonderful app taught to us by Alexandra. Those of you who do not have the app for Farlex, the word of the day today is glorify. Please take a moment and write that down on your agenda. Glorify, to honor with praise, admiration, or worship. People glorify all sorts of bravery except the bravery they might show on behalf of their nearest neighbor. In my case, I should be glorified for being the grammarian this morning. I will be listening for proper and improper use of the English language. Thank you.
Our first speaker today is speaking from the Competent Communication Manual Project 1, the Icebreaker, with a speech entitled The Reason for the Economy Tanked. Please welcome Lori Richards.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. My name is Lori Richards. I am a mortgage underwriter. That means that I approve home loans. I review loan applications ranging in amounts from as low as $35,000 all the way up to over $2 million. My job requires sound decision-making and level-headedness. And while I see myself that way, not trying to glorify myself, while I see myself that way, I do admit that I have some difficulties, some challenges that I face on a daily basis. And since these challenges will directly affect you at some point in time, I figured that now at the very beginning of our relationship is when I should share them with you. The first challenge that I face every single day is my weird inability to park. I can't park a car. I have trouble pulling in the space. I have trouble backing out. Don't ask me to parallel park. I've never been able to do it. I still can't. And just for your information, I drive a green pickup truck. If you notice it, well, you will notice it because it has a big dent and scratches on the outside. That's all I'm going to say about that. But suffice it to say that you probably either want to get to the parking lot after me or just plain stay away from the green truck. The second thing that you should know about me is, you know that filter that supposedly everyone has that stops you from saying inappropriate or dumb things? Mine's a little bit defective. A while back, there used to be a show on Nickelodeon called Guts. And I see people about my son's age will recognize that show. Well, a few years ago, they did a family version of it. It was called My Family's Got Guts. And my daughter heard about it and signed us up to go audition for the show. So the teams were made up of 4 people, and they all had to be related in some way. And my husband and I and our 2 youngest kids went down to the audition. We had to do things like jump on trampolines and rock climb and do shuttle races. And then they took us into a sound stage and set us up in front of a green screen with all the camera guys and all the sound people. And they interviewed us. This was the interview portion of it. Well, the interviewer said that the only thing we had to do was to repeat her question in our answer and look at her and not the camera when we answered. So she started, firing off all these random questions. It was kind of like table topics. And my husband, he was doing really well, and so were my kids. And then she came up with this question, and she said, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? Dad. And my husband just rattles off, I would want to be super fast and all this. So then she's going down the line and she's asking my son and my daughter, and I know she's about to ask me the same question. And everyone in my family said they wanted to be fast. And I didn't want to be the same as them. I wanted to be different. But the only problem is that I couldn't think of any other superpowers other than speed. So she says, if you could have any superpower, what would it be, Mom? And so I want to impress my kids because I had at one time been a Toastmaster and I was used to these random things, right? So I sit straight up in my chair and I look right at the camera and say, if I could have any superpower, I'd be a great bowler. And my kids kind of just look at me like, and I don't know why I chose bowler because we don't bowl. But I went on to tell them that it'd be super awesome to be able to throw lots of strikes. I guess figuring that if I threw in the word super, that kind of would tie it into the whole super thing. We made the cut and they aired the show, and thankfully they didn't air that part of the interview at that time. And finally, what you should know about me is I am severely directionally challenged. I have a lot of trouble with east and west. And if I were to be honest, I have trouble with north and south as well. I grew up in Hawaii, and we give directions like Mauka and Makai, meaning towards the mountain or towards the ocean. So this whole east-west thing, I get really confused. I've had to drive my daughter to Jacksonville and have driven straight through Jacksonville into Georgia. Or I had to, coming back from Tampa, which means that I drove to Tampa without any problems, but coming back, I ended up in Ocala instead of Orlando.
Oh.
Like things like that. So the moral of the story is that if we ever have to carpool, you don't want me to drive. Now, you may be thinking what my brother voiced to me just a month ago when I went home to visit. This was after I couldn't park my rental car and he had to rescue me because I got lost in the mall trying to find the public restroom. Anyway, he looked at me and said, I can't believe they allow you to approve $1 million loans. You're the reason the economy tanked.
The highest peak in the Great Smoky Mountains is Clayman's Dome. It's an elevation of 6,643 feet. I have climbed it. There's a lookout at the top, and from that you are supposed to be able to see about 7 states. Yeah, the day I climbed it, it was foggy, so we could see like about 5 feet in front of us. It's kind of stuff, but it's okay. The Smoky Mountains is also home to 66 species of mammals, 240 species of birds, 43 species of amphibians, 60 species of fish, and 40 species of reptiles, including, and then the most diverse salamander population outside of the tropics. They have bears, they have white-tailed deer, which have grown since it's become a park, the population of the deer. This I know for sure. Leaving from my husband's grandfather's house, it's dark, winding little roads, trees and brush on all sides. A big 12-point buck jumped out in front of the car. We missed it by about less than a foot.
Whoa.
Yes, and he was huge, and he was really pretty, but I'm so glad we missed him. Right, our next speaker is, as an instructor and a coach, Hadi is directly responsible for having his clients achieve the results they desire. He has been an avid student and an experimenter of peak performance strategies for the past 9 years. Some of his personal accomplishments during that time include completing his first master's by age 20, becoming manager of a mid-sized firm's accounting department within 2 months, and most recently tripling his income in November. Today he will share with us some of his best discoveries. With a speech entitled Peak Performance, please welcome Toastmaster Hadi.
For years, I have been obsessed with the question, how do I maximize human potential? I have read countless articles and books, listened to countless audios, watched countless videos. I've gotten coaching, I've tried 1,000 different things, and I've tweaked constantly over time. So today, I'd like to share with you 3 keys that I believe can help you maximize your potential. The first key is to know very clearly what you want. You gotta have a vision. Here are 3 sources to support this. Number 1, Arnie, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He talks all the time about how he had this amazing vision of being the best bodybuilder in the world, of being the bodybuilding champion. It is that vision that compelled him to go to the gym. He says that he almost didn't need any discipline because he just wanted to create that beautiful vision. He wanted to make it a reality. The second source. I drew a blank. Oh yes, the second source, Helen Keller. Helen Keller says, the most pathetic person in the world is someone who has sight but has no vision. And thirdly, one of the wisest books ever written, the book of Proverbs. Chapter 29, verse 18, it says, where there is no vision, the people perish. So how do we create a vision? It's as simple as opening up Microsoft Word and typing what you want in life. And if you're not clear on what you want, just type what you know. And when you review it over time, you'll find yourself refining what you want. The second key is it's not hocus pocus. Just trust the process. Here are 3 sources that support this. Will Smith shares a story about when he was younger, his father tore down a wall and asked Will and his brother to rebuild it. Now at the time, they were kids, and it seemed like a very overwhelming task. But what they realized was, if they just focused on laying each brick as perfectly as a brick could be laid, over time, they had a wall. The second source to support this is Darren Hardy, publisher of Success Magazine. He says, create your BHAG, your big, hairy, audacious goal, as he calls it. And rather than focusing on that goal, which can be very overwhelming, just focus on the next action you can take. Instead of focusing on losing 20 pounds, just focus on eating healthily for your next meal. Any procrastinators in the house? I earned my black belt in the procrastination arts. The third source is Lanny Bassam. Lanny Bassam is an Olympic gold medalist and former world record holder of rifle shooting. And he has a massive problem with people who focus on their end result, but not the process. What he says is, don't focus on winning the competition. Winning the competition is overwhelming, and you can't control the result. You can't control what the other competitors are going to do. Instead, focus on doing the process that will lead you naturally to the win. Now, before I share with you the third key, I have an offer for you guys. Either I give you a penny, but this is no ordinary penny. It's a magic penny. This penny doubles every day for the next 31 days. Or I give you $5 million in cold, hard cash. Who would pick the penny? Okay, who would pick the $5 million? For those of you who picked the penny, within 31 days, you would have $10.7 million.
Not unless you're invested in the stock market right up front with $5 million. Apple shares.
I thought about that too. This illustrates the amazing power of the third key, the power of momentum. 3 sources to support this. Just think about your own life. How many of you have a home loan? Did you guys notice how when you first pay your home loan, the balance barely goes down? But with time, when you keep paying consistently, you pay more and more off that balance. What about going to the gym? Who finds it easy to go to the gym when they haven't been at all in the past month? Definitely not me. But when you find yourself going consistently over time, it becomes so much easier to to go to the gym. And the third example, think back to when you were kids. All your friends were on the merry-go-round, and you're pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, and nothing is happening. But with time, when you keep pushing it, it slowly starts to move just a little bit. And then, if you keep pushing, it goes faster and faster. So to reiterate, I'm sharing with you 3 keys. The first, have a vision. Know very clearly what you want. The second one, trust the process. The third one, build the power of momentum. And here's a 4th bonus goal. Relax and have fun. At least 1 day a week, take a day off, have fun, and rebuild yourself for the week after. In closing, I leave you with a quote from Oprah. The biggest adventure you can take is to live the life of your dreams.
The creation of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park proved to be more complex than the creation of its predecessors such as Yellowstone and Yosemite, as those were already federally owned lands. Along with convincing logging firms to sell lucrative lumber rights, the Park Commission had to negotiate the purchase of thousands of small farms and remove entire communities. They also had to deal with both the Tennessee and North Carolina legislatures, which at the time were opposed to spending taxpayer monies on park efforts. Most purchases were completed by 1932 and was officially opened in 1934 when FDR was presided over the opening ceremonies. Our third speaker today is speaking from the Component Communication Manual, Project 10, and with a speech entitled, How to Deal with Depression During the Holidays. Please welcome Toastmaster Ernst.
Indeed, I will be speaking from my Competent Communicators Manual, lesson number 10. It's by the audience. The subject of the speech is how to deal with depression during the holidays. December is the month of gift-giving, family reunion, joyous occasions, and lots of eating, but it's also the month of increased amount of depressions. The causes could be many. There are more dark days. You might be disconnected with your family. There is a stress on your individual and your family budget. And of course, there's also anxiety about gift giving. And there's the holiday party, starting out with Thanksgiving. More eating, more drinking, you're putting on weight, and all of a sudden, you're getting depressed. And on and on and on it goes. Madam Toastmaster, fellow members, and honored guests. There's many reasons for people to get depressed during the year. However, in December, there are many more hours during a 24-hour period, which is dark. And this is, or could be, the cause of less vitamin D production in your system. Vitamin D is produced by sunlight. And vitamin D has a direct effect on your moods and attitude. And therefore, because of December, there's less sunshine during the night, or during the hours, 24 hours. It could be the reason for the December blues. It's statistically proven that during December, there are more people going to doctor's office for depression than any other time. Also, after the holidays, the suicide rate is skyrocketing. So, if you are one of the people who is suffering from the holiday blues, you might actually be a willing participant. There's good news actually, you can stop it right now, but you have to take control. You have to stop this stinking thinking going on in your head, according to the late Zig Ziglar. Are you the willing participant in a pity party? Are you feeling to be a victim or victimized and thinking by breaking other people's stuff, it may help you solve your situation, while temporarily it may make you feel good. In the long run, it's not going to help. In fact, the situation is going to be aggravated. Let me share with you 4 stories which I experienced as a realtor, sad stories, so you can get a perspective as to your situation, and your life might really not be that bad. Over the years, I have been involved in many houses which are pre-foreclosure or have been foreclosed on, and my job is to go over to these houses, knock on the door to find out who lives there. Is it the previous owner? Is it tenants? Or are they squatters? And my job is to ask them to leave. And if they don't leave, the companies, normally the banks who own these properties, are going to are going to evict them. The sheriffs arrive, so does the eviction crew. They escort the people out of the house. They change the lock. And they throw all their belongings on the side of the street. Now let me share with you, this is not a pleasant experience. And normally at night it takes me 2 additional glasses of wine just to calm down. Now let me share with you the stories which I just mentioned. Way back in 2010, I got an assignment in Longwood to check occupancy on a house which was foreclosed on. I went there and I found a very unfriendly and belligerent woman. I don't know why I say woman. Person. What's a woman? After 15 minutes of arguing back and forth, she finally confessed that she was a tenant. But she also told me that she was a Christian. And God told her this is her house and nobody could evict her. I informed her, unfortunately, this house is owned by XYZ Bank, and she has to find other accommodations. So, without uncertain terms, she explained to me, if I didn't leave her premises, she will get me arrested for trespassing. So I left. So I had to do 2 years of occupancy check on a weekly basis to go there, it's called a drive-by, to see if somebody's still living here. I offered her $20,000 to move out of the house. And she said no. And 10 days before Christmas, she was evicted. All her stuff was thrown out on the side of the street. And guess what? It started to rain. And there was the other story. 2 years ago, I had to go into a gated subdivision to find out who lives there. It's a foreclosed home, and I found out these are the previous owners. They were in their middle ages, 40 years old. And I found out the husband had Lou Gehrig's disease. He came to the door with a walker, could hardly walk and talk, and had 2 young children. And I had to tell him, I'm sorry, you have to leave. This is no longer your home. You can imagine what kind of condition this family was in from a health standpoint and a financial standpoint. I was able to give them $5,000 move-out bonus and extended their stay. Then about 2 days ago, I was asked to go to a Lake Mary home to offer a deed in lieu of foreclosure. It's a process whereby the bank offers you to leave the house, give the deed back, and it prevents a judicial foreclosure. As I was going there and I met the lady, I found out she was my son's prior high school math teacher. She explained to me that Her mother just passed away in her house and didn't have any health insurance and racked up all kinds of medical bills. She has 2 sons who are ill, incapacitated. One needs insulin every day at a high cost. The other one is mentally challenged, who run up her credit card, which cost her financial situation. Unfortunately, she doesn't know where to move. Plus, her roof is leaking, she has a slab leak, the house in disarray, and she doesn't know where to move. And the bank said she has to leave by the end of December. Story number 3. About 2 weeks ago, I had to go and meet a lady in a house in Vancouver. Beautiful older lady, was 74 years old. She was a PhD, used to teach at universities. Spoke in front of 10,000 people, so she's sad. And she explained to me that she has lupus. Lupus is an immune deficiency disorder which causes her to lose her memory. She said that 2 years, in 2007, she refinanced her home, gave money to her daughter to buy a home. Now her teacher's pension fund is running out of money and she cannot pay the mortgage anymore. She said she already fell twice and broke her upper arms. She doesn't have any next of kin. Her husband divorced her several years ago. Her sister is living in Tampa. She has to leave the house. She's incapacitated. She can't leave. She has until the end of the month, end of February. So why I'm sharing these stories with you, so you understand, while you may have some blues, things are really not that bad if you compare them to other people. So what should you really do when you get a little melancholy? Well, first of all, you try to stop it. You stop it right there and try to get a reality check. Get involved in the local community. Get involved before things get out of control. There's very many volunteer positions open right now. So if you don't want to help yourself, at least go and help others. It makes you feel better. So, Miss Toastmaster, fellow members and our guests, here's my suggestion what you should do during the holidays when you get the holiday blues. Stop watching the news. Right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Don't try to fix the history and ponder about the future. Live in today. Live in the now, in this very moment. And don't eat all the garbage people are trying to feed you. You don't have to eat this because it's free. Don't eat all the desserts, the appetizers, the drinks, the eggnog, the Christmas this and the Christmas that. Before you know it, you've gained weight and you're depressed. Listen to some uplifting stories and keep your attitude strong. You are the captain of your own ship. Stay strong, keep focused, and get going. Read some great books or listen to some great books while you do your exercise. I can recommend a book which is called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And when you wake up in the morning, you get up. And the book says at 4 o'clock in the morning. And you wonder, what the hell am I going to do at 4 o'clock in the morning?
That's what I do.
Well, first of all, you drink 2 glasses of water. 1 a lukewarm of water. Don't use the tap water, heat it up because hot tap water is bad. You put in 1 teaspoon of natural Himalayan mineral salt in it, and you drink it, you cleanse yourself. Make sure you're close to a John. Don't drink it when you go to work and you drive to work. Then you say your affirmations out loud. The next thing, you spend some quiet time together with yourself. Then you do some journaling entries. And then you do some vigorous exercise for 1 hour. And then you say what the Dalai Lama says every morning out loud. I'm fortunate to have woken up this morning. I am alive. I have a precious human life and I'm not going to screw it up. I will use all my power and strength to help other people, and I will expand my heart onto others. I will help others as much as I can, and I can overcome every situation. Remember, you're a winner. You're successful, and you're an overcomer. Thank you. Oh.
We'll now bring up our table topics master for today, Julia Kaufman.
Morning, Toastmasters. Welcome back, Rich. And any guests? I don't see any guests today. My role as table topics is to ask some impromptu questions. We'll get right to it. Love the theme. I absolutely love the Smoky Mountains and actually plan to buy property up there very soon. Nicole, what is your dream home location?
I would love to live somewhere that's peaceful. Maybe Trinidad and Tobago. Go to the island and live there. It's beautiful in the mountains. The water's beautiful. Just want to live in a peaceful spot, even a farm. You know, I really don't know. I'll figure it out.
My vision.
That's right. Sounds like a glorified.
Glorious, yes.
Glorious, thank you. Snuck that one in just a little bit. I also love the mountains because it provides a very soothing, the nature sounds is very soothing and peaceful to me. Stephany, what brings you peace and soothing atmosphere?
It's not the mountains. I'm a city girl at heart, although I've learned to love Florida. One of the reasons we moved here is my husband hated the sound of the trucks on the thruway. We lived along the New York State thruway. And he was sick of hearing the truck going by all the time. And he says, I can't stand it. I've got to get out of here. And I'm like, they don't bother me. Sirens, gunshots, none of that stuff bothered me. I'm a city girl. And he says, why do you like the trucks so much? And after 9/11, I told him, this is why. Trucks move this country. And as long as I hear those trucks going past, I know all is well in my part of the world. So I listen every morning when I woke up for the sound of the trucks going up and down the thruway, and that brings me peace.
Oh.
So the Smoky Mountains, Appalachian Mountains, are a great place to camp. Camp there a lot. Share with us your outdoor adventure story, Alexandra.
Madam Toastmaster, my best and glorified outside moment was when I was in college in Venezuela and my whole group of friends, we decided to go camping in one of those little Venezuelan islands. It's called Cayos, whoever speaks Spanish. Very, very tiny island, and it was amazing having no bathroom, nowhere to take a shower, or you know what, and do your business. It was wild, it was crazy, I was young, but it was a very different experience. I would love to do it again. I'm not sure, but it was one of the best outdoor moments of my life.
Awesome. And that concludes table topics. Thank you, Madam President.
Now we'll get to our educational portion of the meeting, and we'll bring up our general evaluator, Gus D.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, this is the educational portion of the meeting where we're going to learn things about the speeches that were given, the performance, the setup of the room, and all the events that make this a great meeting today. To start with, actually, this is the second time when Carrie's Toastmaster. I am General Evaluator, so we'll see how that's... To start with the speeches, which were very educational, we're going to have the evaluators come up. They will say what was a high point of the speech and areas of improvement, and that will be followed with climax of what was done very well. Our first speaker this morning was the icebreaker that Lori did. To evaluate Lori, I will invite the Toastmaster that is out of the room, so I'll pause on that. I'll move on to our second evaluator if she's ready, and the timer is ready. Diane will be evaluating.
Okay, Deanne. So I know he's going to get me on the time, so I'm going to try and speak very quickly. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, I think that, and especially Hadi, of course, I think that your choice of speeches today went perfectly well with our word of the day because it was a way to glorify everyone's life through a certain means. Now, I think that at the very beginning, you brought us all in. I think it could have been a little better if you had just asked the question, how do I maximize human potential? As the opener, instead of saying, for years I've been obsessed with this. You know, you could say that maybe later. But once you said that question, then we were all like totally focused on you. I also loved how you brought up the 3 keys and you used the power of 3 again and again because that's really powerful with an audience. So that was wonderful the way you did that. Also, when one of the things that you did, you lost your way just a little bit and you told us, instead of telling us, which I do too, just skip it and then Helen Keller will come back later, you know, and just do your third thing and then come back to Helen Keller because that would work. I loved your use of some vocabulary, your black belt in the procrastination arts. You were definitely well prepared, you well organized, you had a clear message with a lot of supporting material, which I thought was wonderful. Your stance was a little nervous. I think you seemed to be a little nervous because you held your fists up and kind of guarded your body a lot of the time. Maybe if you just had more casual arm movements and that type of thing, that it might be a little bit better so that we weren't, because you didn't appear nervous, but I think that was your way of protecting yourself. So just be aware of that. Just relax and have fun. I like that part that you said, just relax and have fun, and then everybody relaxed and just became, and you got a little more relaxed yourself. All right, the only other thing, one of the things that you were supposed to do was use a lot of transitional words. And I think you did use a lot of first, second, third, and all that, but I think that you could have used more powerful transition words. Even though you did do the 1, 2, and 3, in between some powerful transitional words would have been the best. So thank you very much. You did a wonderful job. I enjoyed the speech, and I'm in the time.
This is a glorified moment. Mike, thank you. She did well.
We did.
Continuing the evaluation, I'll move on to the third evaluator. Jessica will be evaluating our third speaker. who did a great job to tell us about the holiday. So let's welcome our evaluator number 3, Jessica Rishkin.
Thank you, Master Evaluator. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests, and especially Ernst. Ernst, this is a very special speech that I'm evaluating today since it is the 10th in the manual, the Inspire Your Audience, and after this you get to move on to different projects, so I'm so honored to get to evaluate this particular speech. The goals of the speech are to inspire your audience by connecting with us and appealing to our needs and emotions, and I think that you did just that. When I first saw the title of the speech, I was definitely very curious about how you were going to do that, and I think you did meet all of the goals. You met the goals because you first started to appeal to us. You started to talk about the things that might depress us over the holidays. These were all things that everyone can relate to. You're stressed out trying to find gifts for your families and friends. You've got anxiety about attending all the different holiday parties. You're drinking and eating too much and gaining weight. So everyone might get a little depressed about that. And then you added some drama in by telling us some stories about some really people who had some really truly very depressing holidays because of these evictions you had to do around that time. So that kind of put everything in perspective for us, thinking about, well, gee, I really don't want to go to my husband's work party, or I'm having a hard time finding this gift, but at least my family's in good health and we're not losing our home. So that definitely helps. And then you gave us all of these great suggestions, which really not just helps us overcome depression over the holidays, but probably throughout the whole year, about just getting a better attitude, taking better care of ourselves, taking time to reflect and think about ourselves. So that was just fabulous, great advice, and I appreciate it. Some improvements I have was, the first thing is no notes. I saw that you had your notes with us, or with you. And this is the last speech we have, and I know I'm pretty sure I've seen you give speeches before without notes, and I just think you know your subject matter, you remembered all of these stories. I don't think you need them. So if you do this speech again, no notes, I say just get up and talk. And the other thing that maybe just as light suggestion is if you're going to do the holiday speech again, maybe add in some things about helping people during the holidays who may be depressed, maybe very holiday specific things. I know you kind of touched on it a bit by helping out with charities and things like that. But otherwise, I thought this was a great speech. You are naturally a very inspiring speaker. You've got great volume and variation, and I'm very jealous. I wish I could see it. And I think you're fantastic. Great gestures. So I just think it was a great speech. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to your future projects and the new manuals. Thank you.
Now for our third evaluation will be the first for Julianna and the Icebreaker for Laurie. So let's welcome Julianna Debler as she evaluates.
Thank you, Master Evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters, Laurie, this is my first evaluation I've had to give, but I'm honestly honored that it's Laurie's speech that I'm up here evaluating. Laurie, what a phenomenal speech. It was very unique. I felt it was very humbling, and we really got to know who you are and all of your defects. We know we all have to carry insurance now when we come to the Tuesday morning meetings. We know your tongue speaks faster than your brain when you're put on the spot, and you're directly incompetent. Although you claim that these are your defects, we're very happy to have you here, and I'm very, very, very pleased with your speech. It was very well put together. Your organization was very clear, concise. Your transitioning between your points were excellent. I picked up on your directional cues, your first, second, and finally. I think it allowed all of us to continue on the same page as you, and we made sure we weren't getting caught up or behind the point you were trying to deliver. Your ending was excellent. This was my favorite part of your speech. From your title, The Reason the Economy Tanked, I was quite confused at the beginning. I thought maybe you were a Republican and you were coming up
tell us why Obama is terrible. I'm like, I'm really looking forward to this speech. This is a great icebreaker. She's really a forward-going girl. But then you got us at the end. You tied it in. You tied in all your defects, and that's why the economy tanked. And it was the aha moment. She got me. I was like a little child at Christmas, like, when is it coming? When is it coming? When is she gonna tie it in? And I really liked the spontaneous and the last minute tie-in because I was on the edge of my seat looking for that connection. And I'm not sure if everybody else was, but if you read the title, I'm sure you were on the same page as I was. So that was excellent. I really liked the last minute creativity and spontaneous tying in of the title to the conclusion. One thing I think you could maybe work on in terms of your organization is maybe a more captivating opening. Perhaps you could start with a story and then tie in that story to one of your defects and then continue from there. But overall, your organization was phenomenal. Your delivery was also great. I noticed in between a phrase or a sentence, you lost your train of thought, but instead of saying, so, you paused. It was very natural. And I know you were thinking about that, but that was great because we also were waiting for you to say, so. And I'm sure the odd counter was also looking forward to that. But you did great. Thank you very much. That was excellent. One thing you can work on with your delivery is maybe to move a little bit more with purpose. Instead of, I noticed maybe you stood within like a two feet circle radius in this side of the room, perhaps move more when you're transitioning between thoughts, like first, secondly, finally. Overall, you met your purpose. We got to know who you were, all of your defects, and we love them. Thank you very much, Lori. Excellent speech. Looking forward to it.
You're still evaluated, right? So that's the evaluation of the 3 speeches we had for today. I'd like to honor, praise the technical table, so to glorify them, they will prove themselves in the reports they're going to give. And to start with the report, I'm going to start with the accountant, Stephen Morgan, please.
Keep glorifying that you're moving up. This is what I heard. Alexandra, I didn't hear anything on your part. Carrie, I heard 1 tongue click, 2 double clutches. Mike and Erica, I hadn't heard anything there. Hadi, I heard 2 nows, a button and an. So I heard lots of bridge words today amongst those. Julia, 1 so, 1 double clutch. Nicole, I didn't catch anything. Stephany, 1 double clutch. Gus, you snuck a so in just before calling me.
Good listening.
I guess I was. Julianna, I heard 1 so, 3 ands, tongue click, 4 double clutches, and I love the very, 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 very. Yeah. Jessica, 2 so's, a but, 3 ands, a pause, 2 double clutches. Diane, 1 you know, 4 so's, 1 and, 3 double clutches, 1 now. Lori, you don't owe anything, being the icebreaker, but I heard the 4 so's, 2 buts, 10 ands, a tongue click, a well, 3 double clutches, and now. And Ernst, with the much longer speech. 1 you know, 6 so's, 6 ands, 2 tongue clicks, 8 double clutches, 5 then.
Wow.
Supposed to be 5 cents per infraction. I'm sure our treasurer will be able to extract that from you before the end of the meeting.
There goes the shaking of that cup. Now we move on to see how we did with our timing. Mike, you.
So, well, we had some good speeches today. Lori, you're at 5:29. Hadi, 6:41. Ernst, 12 minutes. Wow. Nicole, you're at 23 seconds. Stephany, you're at 1 minute exactly. Alexandra, you're at 43 seconds. Evaluators, Julianna, you somehow managed to beat Diane. I don't know how, but you did it. Diane, let me glorify this. She's and then Jessica, you were at 2:52, and that is my report.
Thank you very much. And now for our use of the English language, I'd Premier and Erica.
I just want to make an observation, the word of the day was not posted throughout. However, thankfully to Farlex, it was not very difficult, glorify. So I was very surprised that I only had a handful of people that used it. If I missed your name, please raise your hand so I can glorify your name. I have Lori, Julia, Ernst, I think you said it. Am I wrong?
No,
I
you
have a
didn't.
question mark next to it, okay. Gus, several times, thank you. Stephen, anyone else that I
I
missed?
said it.
Diana? Anyone that had a speaking role didn't use it, 25 cents, unless you are presenting the icebreaker. A few suggestions and things that I heard today. Lori, you used this phrase, suffice it to say, a suggestion would be suffice to say. Carrie, he was really pretty. A suggestion would be, we glorified his beauty. Okay. Hadi, I love that you use the phrase, where there is no vision, the people perish. Ernst, I also like that you started a sentence with the word indeed. I will be speaking, because a lot of common mistakes is when we use a conjunction at the beginning of a sentence instead of a conjunction to tie two words. So your opener being indeed, I want to compliment you on that. And that suggestion of something you said what you should really do when you get a little melancholy. I was excited that you used the word melancholy. However, to avoid a melancholy state of mind would be an alternate way to say what you should really do when you get a little melancholy. Okay, so just a little reverse there. I love that you said make sure you are close to a John. So I did search on the Urban Dictionary because I wrote John J-O-N and it's actually spelled J-O-H-N and it's a word for the toilet. So,
Say the loo next time.
And then Julianna, just an observation. And I don't know if this is the grammarian or the odd counters part, but it says delivery was also great. Great was used 3 times. And a suggestion to use for the word great would be fantastic, creative, excellent, anything other than great. And that is my report.
Thank you. Well, it was a great meeting. We want to thank you.
Fantastic.
Overtime.
Stephany,
Find him.
You know.
find him.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal, awesome,
Sergeant at Arms.
fantastic.
Exceptional.
Magnificent.
No, so
Awe-inspiring.
Where do I take this from? The room was well set. We thank our Sergeant of Arms for setting up the room. The theme that you chose, Carrie, was appropriate and the way you filled in the information. The intros were great. If you say in your introduction to the Toastmaster to tell us a little bit about yourself, I think you did a great job with that in the opening of each of these speeches.
Now he's mocking me. Just kidding.
And the handoffs were very smooth. Stay up here, we clap till we have the next speaker off, and then the other person will take their seat. It was a great speeches.
We got it.
He never
Speeches
used the
today.
word until now.
May I turn this over now to the president?
It's great to be back. Just kidding. I would like to call Lori up here, please. The most important speech you ever give is the confidence to join Toastmasters and present your first speech, being the icebreaker. And obviously, being a former Toastmaster was fantastic. And I look forward to hearing more. Thank you. Please make a note on the agenda that Diane has a TM beside her name. She's our treasurer and currently a competent communicator manual. And now today, Diane, if you could come up here, I'd like to present to you the Competent Leader pin for this fantastic accomplishment. We have learned so much about Diane and her experiences because we speak of what we know and feel confident in sharing. So that is a fantastic accomplishment.
That was twice.
Great, that's awesome.
Who has the schedule?
Awesome.
Okay. Got 30 seconds. December 9th, Toastmaster Stephany, Speaker 1, Mike Hughes, Speaker 2, Alexandra, Stephen Morgan, Table Topics, Hadi. General Evaluator, we need one. Perfect. Evaluator 1, Ernst. Evaluator 2, myself. You were going to be an evaluator, but you'd rather be a general evaluator.
Yes, I may or may.
Okay, so I will put Nicole in place of the third evaluator. And
Possibly, I should be here, so.
that's what I'm saying.
Let's go back to the
Okay,
Smoky
so
Mountains.
I will remove you as an evaluator. Nicole will be the evaluator. I'll counter Julia, grammarian Lori. Lori, are you familiar with the Farlex app that, okay. Do you have a
can figure out your
smartphone?
word.
Okay,
Word
Farlex
of the
Dictionary.
day.
Very easy. You can email it to the Toastmaster of the Day as a link.
Or the Toastmaster may ask for a word that goes with the theme.
Right. Just if something crazy happens, like this morning, and someone has to step in, but definitely a great resource. Julianna, you will be our timer. Any other commentaries before we end this morning?
Oh,
we have money.
Are we going to have a meeting the week of the
23rd and 30th.
Yep.
Okay, could we vote?
Or Steve's gonna be here anyway.
we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so half of that for the winner.
Okay,
Anybody else?
any money
Oh, I
drawing?
thought-
Okay, all right, so I'm gonna allow Rich.
Oh,
He
hey, welcome
has
back,
graced
Rich.
us, glorified us with his presence again. To pick the winner. 2300 636.
So you I got it.
Oh.
God. Very good, man. Thank you.
I found it very appropriate that some of the
Diane.
speech topics were in regards to staying positive and
Oh,
positive influences throughout the holidays.
She's got it.
It was very well received, and I look forward to next week. So everyone have a fantastic week.
Thank you.